Chapter 5. I'm sure a lot of people think that it'd be cool to live inside of a theme park. And if that theme park was Disney World, I'm pretty sure they would be right. Though I've never been there. I imagine living at Stagecoach Pass is probably not a whole lot like living in Disney World. It's probably more like living in Disney Shantytown. We moved into the small apartment over Stagecoach Pass Saloon and Steakhouse because running a theme park is apparently a 24-hour-a-day job. You never know when an accident toilet might explode. Hopefully not with someone on it, or a kid might get bitten by a crazed bunny, because the apartment is located right on top of the steakhouse. I can hear the noisy player piano in the bar every night as I fall asleep. The only main course options on the menu at the steakhouse are steak and burger, both served with cowboy beans, cornbread, and coleslaw. For the adventurous, there is a fried rattlesnake, or Rocky Mountain oysters for appetizers. I tried the fried rattlesnake on my first day here. I wasn't all that impressed. It pretty much tasted like little fried pieces of fried stuff. I didn't much care to try out the Rocky Mountain oysters, though. I've had a long-standing rule not to eat private parts, and it served me well so far. The saloon and steakhouse in the first wooden building is where you enter Stagecoach Pass as through the parking lot and the dirty parking lot, which is only a quarter full on busiest days. Next to the steakhouse is a shooting gallery where the fake guns have poor aim and no one can hit a little bull's eye attached to the plastic cactuses, while wide-eyed cowboy cutouts and fancy patched hair bobcats. Across the shooting gallery is a tiny museum and the main souvenir shop, which sells things like drink coasters, shot glasses with cactuses on them, lollipops with scorpions inside. Yes, like anyone would eat that. And postcards of the Grand Canyon. I guess so people can pretend that like they visited the Grand Canyon instead of Stagecoach Pass. Not that I blame them. The main dirt road, surprisingly called Main Street, that runs through Stagecoach Pass, runs the corner of the shooting gallery, and there is a theater that shows old black and white westerns all day long. Maybe like one person is sitting there, maybe just to soak up in the air conditioning. Next to the movie theater is a soda shop that sells old-fashioned candy and ice cream. It's run by a white-haired man named Harry, who's worked here since Stagecoach Pass opened, and who never gets the order right. Ask for a single strawberry cone, and he gives you triple chocolate. He's like 100 years old, and completely silent. But he always remembers my name for some reason. I guess I'm pretty memorable. Must be the right hair. If you walk further down the dirt road, you'll find a jail. People can pay $10 to have someone arrested for reasons like eating their boogers and having bad teeth. I already had dad arrest for chronic farting, and I didn't have to pay for it either because my parents read the case. VIP here. And I'm planning on having mom get arrested for yellow sissy britches. Across from the soda shop is a petting zoo with 3 goats, 2 sheep, 4 rabbits, 2 chickens, and spaghetti. An extremely old mutant llama with giant petting zoo. Llama with a tumor growing out of its head. The lady who runs the petting zoo, Zanice, told my parents that the tumor can't be removed because he's too old and any surgery could kill him. Poor Spaghetti. The kids are scared of him and prefer to pet the other animals, but Spaghetti and I have a special connection. Towards the back of Stagecoach Pass is the gold mine, run by cranky old man Bob, who clearly hates children. When they ask him if the gold is real, he's supposed to tell them, "It's real Stagecoach Pass gold," with a cheesy southern accent. Instead, he usually says in a mean-sounding Philadelphian accent, "It's real gold spray-painted rocks, genius." Or, "If it was real, do you think I'd be letting you dig it up?" Or simply, "Shut your pie hole." You can have your palm read by Madame Miracle in the park psychic. She has a hard time figuring out my future, though. I asked her to read the bottom of my foot, but all she told me was that I have lots of calluses, and she liked my blue, sparkly nail polish. Kids have the choice to ride either 1,000 old donkeys named Billy or washed-up circus camel named Fred on the dirt trail. The wind passes the acre piece of the desert that sits behind Stagecoach Pass. The rest of Main Street is littered with empty buildings and storefronts that use to the house like a photography studio for old-fashioned portraits. A mechanical bull you ride. You could pay $5 to try. The mechanical bull still sits in the room, broken down and looking forlorn. I once walked through Stagecoach Pass and counted all the empty buildings. There are 17, more than the buildings in operation. When Stagecoach Pass opened 60 years ago, it was probably quite a tourist attraction, sitting all the way out in the middle of the desert. The city is caught up to it, though, and besides the patch of desert that runs behind it and the tiny border of desert that runs around it, it is completely surrounded by buildings and houses. A strange little time capsule in the middle of this big city. That first day after school, I walked into the soda shop, stomping my dusty purple flats all the way in, trying to bring them back to their bright color. "Is there a marching band in here?" Henry called. "No," I frowned. "My shoes are all dirty." "That's the desert for you," Henry said. "What can I get you, little even?" "Just a tiny scoop of mint chip in a bowl, please." While I waited, I looked at the framed pictures of tarantulas lining one wall of the soda shop. "Someone must have really liked tarantulas to put these pictures up," I said to Henry as he scooped my ice cream. He laughed. "Of course, you do even." "I don't know anything about tarantulas." Henry chuckled and waved his hand at me, like I was acting silly. "No, really, I've never even seen a tarantula before in my life," I said. He just smiled and shook his head. "You can't fool me, even." He handed me my ice cream, a double scoop of vanilla. Oh well. I carefully picked the paper bowl up between my chin and shoulder. I walked out of the ice cream shop and sat on the rocking chair in the front porch to eat my vanilla, which I don't even like ice cream. I dreaded going home and being subject to more of the interrogation about my day. Mom had just started in the car. There simply wasn't anything to tell. After a few bites, I threw my ice cream in the trash. I had already explored most of the park, so I decided to make my way back around the soda shop and see what was behind the buildings. I found a narrow dirt, of course, trail that would round through the small strip of desert that surrounded Stagecoach Pass. I followed it and came to a very small building, more like a shack. It was at the very edge of the fence. Behind the fence, I could see the back of the large grocery store Mom and I had already visited. I walked around the shack. Nothing but 7 do not enter signs nailed on the outside. The old wooden doors had been padlocked, probably a very long time ago. Because of the metal handle one had completely rotting off the wood, and the lock was still hanging with the other handle. I tried pushing on the handle with my side, but the door was so stiff I could barely move it. I needed someone's hand to pull it open. I peeked inside the windows through the film of the dirt. I could vaguely see out stacks of boxes and what looked like old props. Why on earth would someone put padlocked doors and 7 do not enter signs on this building filled with nothing but junk? I had to get in there.